Yo, it's JP. I'm going to talk today about discrimination in a public accommodations or public establishment context. All right. And by that, I'm talking about retail, department stores, Home Depot, Target, Walmart, Dillard's, you name it. I'm also talking about restaurants and hotels. I see a lot of these cases come in out of the hotel context. And that is probably because about 10 years ago, I litigated one of the seminal hotel discrimination cases, certainly in the South or in the state of Florida. We wound up beating summary judgment and the case settled on confidential terms before trial. But let's talk about what these cases are about, okay? I'm just going to bottom line it for you folks. In most of these cases that I see, what we're really talking about is shopping while black or staying at a hotel while black, okay? If that offends you, tough shit, okay? But that's the real deal, right? I don't see a lot of these cases come in. Again, public accommodations, public establishments, retail or hotels, restaurants, etc. I don't see a lot of these cases come in that involve race discrimination against anybody other than black folks, okay? Now, I've read about some cases. There was a very well-known case out of California in the last several years where a hotel was owned by some folks who were anti-Semitic, and they discriminated against some Jewish folks. And in fact, they threw them out of the hotel pool, and I think they even kicked them out of the hotel. Well, those hotel owners, they got banged out, okay? They got banged out for north of $1 million under California law and I believe federal law. And some people say, what? How is that possible? Well, I'll tell you how it's possible, okay? And I'll use the original Civil Rights Act of 1866. So historically, you look back in America, over time, the most righteous, radically forward-looking phase in American history came in the 20 or 30 years immediately following the Civil War, okay? In the aftermath of the Civil War, there was a moment there when it really looked like, son of a bitch, America's going to do this thing, okay? Now, women still didn't have any rights. That wasn't until Seneca Falls, right? That wasn't until 50, 60 years later, okay? But it certainly looked like post-Civil War, America was moving in the right direction. And that's when you got the Civil Rights Act of 1866, which is 42 USC 1981. And for folks who, read my writing or follow my work, they're like, what, 42 USC 1981? Yes, 42 USC 1981 is the absolute shit. It's the absolute shit. It's amazing. It's amazing. 42 USC 1981 prevents discrimination on the basis of race in the making and enforcement of contracts. That's the core of what we're going at, right? And so when it comes to a hotel, okay, they say, you offered me a room, I accept it, I expect to enjoy that room and all the privileges of the hotel on the same terms and conditions as white folks, okay? And that's generally what these cases are about. Like I said, there's a case out of California with the Jewish people, and you occasionally see other variants and flavors, right? But most of these cases that I see are establishments, whether hotels or retail establishments, discriminating against black people, okay? And I've seen some really ugly cases in this direction. I'll give you an example, okay? So you know what we're talking about, right? I have seen cases where there is a black person in a hotel in their pajamas, right? At the breakfast bar, okay? Getting, some oatmeal and some tea, and a racist front desk attendant comes up to the breakfast bar and says, you need to get out of here. You need to get out of here. And the guest, right? The guest is is confused, is shocked, doesn't know what's going on. And then the front desk person says, we don't let homeless niggers in here. Get out of here. Get out of here. That's a real fucking case. That is a real case. Okay? I've seen cases where the police were called on folks. I've seen cases where there were guests, paying guests, right? We're talking I'm not talking about people who are causing a ruckus or engaging in some shenanigans or being disruptive. I'm just talking about regular fucking law-abiding, peaceable folks who are in a hotel minding their own business, and for whatever reason, a front desk agent, a manager, even the owner of the hotel, the managing member of the corporate entity that owns the hotel has, solely on the basis of their own naked racism, picked shit with these people, called the police, and had them kicked out of the hotel. I've had situations where black folks who were paying guests of a hotel, we're talking again, peaceable, law-abiding, not disruptive, none of those shenanigans, okay? We're not talking about a situation where somebody started a fight or had drugs in the hotel or whatever. No, none of that. We're just talking about regular guests, right? Minding their own business. And the owner has started beef with these people and called the police and had them kicked out and trespassed off the property and said they were trespassing when in fact they were paying guests. That is what we're talking about. We're talking about retail establishments where, black folks are shopping in the store and they're being followed around the store, okay? They're being followed around the store by either store personnel, sales associates, etc., or store security. And then, in the sort of Moneyball scenario, the store calls the cops on them. Right? We've had multiple situations, multiple cases that we've been involved in where some racist bad actor calls the cops and basically says, right, like, there are black people at this hotel, right? They don't belong here, right? Or there are black people in this store. They don't belong here, right? Why? I wonder why. Well, because they're black. You don't want them there, right? That is just naked and ugly racism. And it is actionable. That does violate people's statutory rights under American federal law. And there are causes of actions and claims. Not only are there causes of actions and claims, okay, back to 42 U.S.C. 1981, but you can get compensatory damages, you can get punitive damages, and you can get attorney's fees, okay? So we get a lot of calls and inquiries in these types of cases, okay? A lot of people show up and, one of the inquiries, and I'm just being real, okay, about what I don't want, okay? Here's what I don't want, okay? I don't want people contacting my office and saying they have a hotel discrimination case when it's a situation where, right, like they've been staying there for 4 weeks and they had a bunch of visitors and there were drugs found in the room. And then they're like, well, I'm being discriminated against. No, get out of here with that trash. Okay. I'm sorry for the situation you're in or whatever's going on and sort of, your personal life, but that is not what we are talking about, okay? We are talking about cases where there is no other reason, there is no other basis for the treatment that these folks received, okay? There is no other basis for them to be singled out and treated differently than their race. That's what we're talking about. So we're not talking about there was a whole bunch of other shit going on. There was a whole bunch of other circumstances and shenanigans, okay? We're talking about a situation where the only cause, the only reasonable explanation is that the people working for the hotel or running the hotel are just a bunch of racist sons of a bitches, okay? That's the type of case we're looking for, right? And I'll take those cases anywhere. I'll take those cases anywhere in the country. I'll take those cases whether it's hotel, whether it's restaurants, whether it's retail establishment, shopping center, home goods store, whatever. I've even had those cases come out of the restaurant context where black people have requested to sit in a certain part of the restaurant and they've been told, no, this is the only seat we have available for people like you, right? Literally, this is in the last 15 years. In the last 15 years, I have had that case. Against a pretty significantly sized restaurant chain. Nice, mid-tier, upper tier, right? Where some nice black folks go in, right? Ask for a table. They want to sit in a certain part of the restaurant. They can look outside, right through the window, people watch, etc. And they were literally told, no, you got to sit back here. This is the only place we have for you people to sit, right? People like you, okay? Naked racism. Those are the types of cases we are looking for in the retail, public accommodations, public establishment context. If that happens to you, you absolutely have rights. Those cases absolutely are actionable. Jonathan Pollard, happy Tuesday.